Okay, we will now have the playing of the national anthem. You may be seated. His Excellency, the Most Honorable Sir Patrick Allen, Governor General, Dr. the Most Honorable Andrew Holness, Prime Minister, Honorable Matthew Samuda, Minister of Water, Environment and Climate Change, Honorable Marissa Dalrymple Philibert, Member of Parliament for Trelawny Southern, Mr. Wayne O. Robertson, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Water, Environment and Climate Change, Brigadier Markland Lloyd, representing His Excellency Dr. Rocky Mead, Permanent Secretary in the Office of the Prime Minister, His Worship the Mayor, Councillor Colin Gager, Mayor of Falmouth, Honorable Hugh Gentles, Custos Rotolorum for the Parish of Trelawny, Mr. Omar Newell, Opposition Spokesperson for Environment and Climate Resilience, Mr. Ainsley A. Henry, CEO and Conservator of Forests, Reverend Alijay Dias, Minister of Lowe River Charge of United Churches, Mr. Desmond Smith, Counselor for the Lorimer's Division, heads of other government agencies and departments, representatives from partner entities, members of the Ministry of Water, Environment and Climate Change and its agency, the Forestry Department, students, staff of the Lowe River Primary and Infant School, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I am Francine Black-Richards, and I will be the chair for this morning's proceedings. Before I go any further, I would just ask of our specially invited guests if we could allow the order of acknowledgement to stand in the interest of time for the program. It is a pleasure to officially launch the RELEAF initiative and advance the National Tree Planting Initiative too, an important step in Jamaica's recovery and resilience following Hurricane Melissa. In the wake of the storm, the Forestry Department conducted damage assessments across the island, providing us with a clear, evidence-based roadmap for action. For that work, RELEAF was born. It's a focused, strategic approach to restoring our forests, protecting our watersheds, and safeguarding critical investments. Today, that work moves from planning to action. Between January and June, more than 300,000 seedlings will be planted across forest reserves, mangroves, watersheds, private lands, and urban spaces. Notably, 10% will be fruit trees, strengthening both resilience and food security. The momentum is already building. Thousands of trees have been planted in communities and institutions, and preparations are underway for large-scale planting in the months ahead. This morning, we take another step forward, mobilizing volunteers to restore areas like the Lowe River and the Pike and Ravens Forest Reserves with a rich mix of native species, building forests that are not only restored, but stronger. This is just the beginning. As we expand into more affected areas, we invite every Jamaican, communities, landowners, and partners to be part of this national effort. Today, we plant more than trees. We plant renewal, resilience, and hope for generations to come. As we begin this official launch, it is fitting that we pause to seek guidance, wisdom, and blessings for the work ahead. May our efforts be guided by purpose, strengthened by unity, and grounded in a shared commitment to the good of our nation. I now invite Reverend Ali J. Dias, Minister of the Lowe River, Charge of United Churches, to lead us in prayer.
Friends, let us bend our spirits in prayer. Gracious God, creator of all things, seen and unseen, Lord, we honor you as the Lord of the earth, the one who planted the first garden and entrusted humanity with the care of creation. Today, Lord, we gather with purpose and hope as we launch this RELEAF initiative to relieve, to restore, and to renew. We thank you for this vision birthed through the Forestry Department and for every hand and heart committed to rebuilding and strengthening our national environment. Lord, in the aftermath of storms and destruction, you remain our restorer. Just as nature has endured, we pray, Lord, that we will, through wisdom, unity, and perseverance, that we will move forward, that the land will rise again. Lord, let every seedling planted be a sign of recovery, a symbol of resilience and a promise of restoration. Lord, bless this effort to reforest our watersheds, to protect our mangroves, to enrich our landscapes, and expand agroforestry. May these trees not only grow, but Lord, may they thrive, providing food, shelter, protection, and life for generations to come. Lord, we pray for all stakeholders, government leaders, forestry workers, volunteers, farmers, and community members. Pray, Lord, that you will grant them strength for the work, wisdom in planning, and unity in execution. Lord, may this initiative inspire deeper national commitment to stewardship and environmental care. Father, send the rain when it is needed, the sunshine when it is its season, and your divine protection over every planting site. Guard these young trees and let them flourish beyond expectation. Lord, as we relieve, may you also renew our hearts, teaching us responsibility, gratitude, and reverence for the gift of creation. Lord, let this initiative stand as a testimony that even after loss, restoration is possible, and with you, renewal is certain. Lord, we commit this launch and all that will follow in your hand. In your holy and mighty name we pray. Amen.
Thank you very much, Reverend Dias. RELEAF is a Government of Jamaica initiative led by the Forestry Department with a clear mission to restore and strengthen our nation's forests. Its impact is national, and it is fitting that we are joined by representatives from across sectors and communities today. We are truly pleased to have you with us for this important occasion. It is now my honor to invite my CEO, Mr. Ainsley Henry, to officially welcome you.
Good morning, everyone. Thankfully, protocols already having been established, I don't have to read that long list. Let me just take this opportunity to, however, recognize both the Governor General and the Prime Minister and thank them both for taking the time to be here today. I was very happy and somewhat surprised that both of you were so willing to be here on such short notice. It is with pleasure that I stand here today to welcome you all to the launch of the Reforestation Ecological Enhancement and Landscape Framework Initiative, dubbed the RELEAF Initiative, and the acceleration of the National Tree Planting Initiative 2. Both of these initiatives boldly declare our commitment to environmental stewardship and our promise to the communities that depend on these precious landscapes, especially those here in Western Jamaica. The Pike and Ravens Forest Reserve and the soon-to-be-declared Lowe River Forest Reserve combined make up more than 100 hectares of ecologically critical land. These forests are a significant part of a vital freshwater resource near the cockpit country, and they provide essential support to the inland communities of Trelawny. Their protection and restoration are fundamental to stabilizing our hillsides, preserving our water supplies, and safeguarding the many natural systems that depend on them and sustain our people. After the passage of Hurricane Melissa, the Forestry Department carried out more than 331 forest damage assessments across the island. These rapid evaluations documented a range of impacts, from canopy loss and broken branches to full crown destruction. We also noted landslides and access blockages with the most severe effects concentrated across the western and central Jamaica, and particularly in regions like this. The information gathered has provided us with evidence-based foundation for prioritizing our interventions, protecting sensitive watersheds, and developing a strategic approach to replanting, rehabilitation, and resilience building. Consequently, the agency designed this RELEAF initiative in direct response to the hurricane and its impacts. This initiative now guides our recovery efforts through a tiered prioritization system, allowing us to sequence our activities according to damage severity, access limitations, watershed importance, and the need to protect recent public and private investments. With the support of our volunteers and our partners, the agency has already planted more than 20,000 trees, and our teams have been actively removing debris from impacted areas to prepare the landscape for ongoing restoration. While today's launch underscores our major focus on the restoration in the West, we assure our friends in the East that we also remain committed to carrying out targeted, localized restoration in select forests in central and eastern Jamaica. Ladies and gentlemen, today marks not just the launch of an event, but the strengthening of a national mandate, one that ensures that our forests remain resilient, our watersheds protected, and our communities supported for generations to come. Welcome once again, and thank you very much for joining us as we embark on this important journey of renewal, restoration, and resilience building.
Thank you very much, Mr. Henry. His Worship, Councillor Colin Gager, has long been a valued friend and supporter of the Forestry Department, championing initiatives that enhance both the quantity and quality of forest cover within the parish of Trelawny. We are pleased to have him with us today as we launch yet another initiative that will positively impact the lives of the people of Jamaica and including the people of Trelawny. I now invite His Worship to bring greetings.
While I'll abide by the protocol established, but let me just mention His Excellency, the Most Honorable Sir Patrick Allen, and of course, Dr. the Most Honorable Andrew Holness, our Prime Minister of Jamaica. It is indeed a pleasure for me as Mayor to bring greetings on the occasion of the launch of this very timely and important initiative, RELEAF. Let me first commend the government of Jamaica and the Forestry Department for its vision and leadership in developing this operational framework for post-hurricane forest recovery. In the aftermath of recent weather events, we have all witnessed firsthand the vulnerability and more sustainably. Trelawny holds a special place in the Jamaica forestry landscape. Our parish is blessed with rich natural assets, lush forest reserves, vital watersheds, and diverse ecosystems that support both our rural communities and our economic activities, including agriculture and tourism. Protecting and restoring these resources is essential. As a farmer myself, I can tell you this. This is why the work being done today aligns so closely with the Trelawny Local Sustainable Development Plan, development by the municipal corporation. The plan emphasizes responsible land use, environmental protection, climate resilience, and sustainable livelihood. As a municipal corporation, we are committed to supporting initiatives like this that strengthen our environment while empowering our people. True development must be sustainable, and true progress must protect what have been entrusted with us. Let us therefore use this initiative as a call to action, one that brings together government agencies, community members, private stakeholders, and our young people to play an active role in restoring and protecting our forests. In closing, I encourage all of us not only to support RELEAF, but to become ambassadors of environmental stewardship in our homes, schools, and communities. Together, we can ensure that Trelawny remains a place of natural beauty, sustainable growth for generations to come. Thank you. May this initiative flourish, and we continue to see lush greenery to bear lasting fruits. Thank you.
When we approached the principal of Lowe River Primary and Infant School, Mr. Ansel Palmer, for permission to host this launch here, he readily agreed. When we invited the school to participate in today's program, he once again gave his full support, going even further to prepare an original piece inspired by today's initiative that we're launching. It is now my pleasure to invite the students of Lowe River Primary and Infant to present their item.
ensure, say, the trees them restore, so the forest can do its work.
What Melissa did to the trees and the forest left me in a disbelief. When I looked on the trees and the forest, you could see them breathe. Now for the forest, them get a relief. Forestry Department come to a program named RELEAF.
Them planting over 300 tons seedlings to produce millions of leaves. We shall all work as one, but Forest Department will be the chief organization leading out the reforestation of the nation and enhancing the ecology of Bonita Island. The Reforestation Ecological Enhancement and Landscape Framework is set up to restore Jamaica's nationwide forestry network. So big up the Forestry Department, cause of them doing the groundwork to ensure, say, the trees them restore, so the forest can do its work.
Them prioritizing the watersheds cause of them to the water to the waterbeds. Them also looking at damage severity and accessibility to set the priority. Them focusing on urban areas, private lands, forest reserves, and mangroves.
They give the hungry at ease and create cool breeze. Them planting over 30,000 fruit trees in trying to keep the nation's forest alive. Forestry Department launching this island-wide reforestation drive. They'll engage 1,000 volunteers from the Replant Jamaica Drive that was launched in November 2025. The Reforestation Ecological Enhancement and Landscape Framework is set up to restore Jamaica's nationwide forestry network. So big up the Forestry Department, cause of them doing the groundwork to ensure, say, the trees them restore, so the forest can do its work.
Thank you very much, students. We can all agree those were two beautiful items. We can give them another round of applause. Our honorable minister has always been one to lead from the front. And since he announced RELEAF in January, he has continued to focus and guide our efforts to restore our forests, water, and wider environment. I now invite the Honorable Matthew Samuda, Minister of Water, Environment, and Climate Change, to bring remarks.
Thank you, Madam Master of Ceremony. Though the protocol has been established and we were asked to shorten our greetings, I certainly have to extend special welcome to His Excellency, the Most Honorable Sir Patrick Allen, and indeed Dr. the Most Honorable Andrew Holness. I don't know that I should be the one welcoming you to South Trelawny, but I will extend the welcome on behalf of my colleague and friend, MP Marissa Dalrymple Filbert. I also extend special greetings to Mr. Omar Newell, representing the Leader of the Opposition. Today is an important day in Jamaica's search for sustainable development. Jamaica stands on the front lines of what's dubbed the triple planetary crisis. And the triple planetary crisis refers to biodiversity loss, pollution, and climate change. But despite Hurricane Melissa, Tropical Storm Raphael, and Hurricane Beryl before it, Jamaica doesn't stand idly by as a helpless victim. Jamaica has taken a strategic and focused approach to ensure that we manage every element of this crisis using the science and policy nexus, engaging best-in-class technology, so that Jamaica is very clear on its risk profile and has strategies to mitigate these risks. The RELEAF program, as announced in January, being launched today, represents the government's operational framework for restoration, for recovery efforts to our forests post-Hurricane Melissa. But it is indeed a subset of a larger initiative announced by the Prime Minister, I believe, last year, May, which was the National Tree Planting Initiative 2.0, which was a follow-on to our 3 million tree planting initiative, which started in 2018. Now, this initiative wasn't a hollow declaration. It was a project that benefited from the investment and work of the Forestry Department, and I congratulate the Conservator of Forests and his team. It's a project that benefited from support from NEPA, and indeed was bolstered by the government's choice and declaration of the Cockpit Country Protected Area. It was further supported by several other declared protected areas, including the Black River Morass and 14 forestry orders that took management into the hands of the Forestry Department to ensure that we were pursuing increased forest cover. All of that led to last year it being declared under what's called the RED Plus system. An assessment was done that showed that Jamaica's forest cover pre-Hurricane Melissa had actually increased. So the efforts being made by the government of Jamaica to ensure that our forests were both growing and were improving in health were bearing fruit. And this is particularly important because as you stare down the face of climatic challenges, which are indeed increasing the risk of biodiversity loss, are indeed increasing the length and severity of droughts, this is a major tool. This is your government's acceptance that nature-based solutions must form a part of our fight back against this triple planetary crisis. Now, Prime Minister, we have engaged our multilateral partners to assist us through RED Plus surveys, through LiDAR mapping, to ensure we know exactly where the damage is to our forests. We know exactly the scale of the damage to our mangrove forests as well. And we have bolstered and been supported by over 300 assessments on the ground from the Forestry Department. This is the launch of the operational framework. but it is not a project that certainly will be filled today. We will start with the planting of 1,000 seedlings, but it will take all of us to achieve our goal. That is why I supported the Forestry Department's request that we invite His Excellency and indeed the Prime Minister and the Leader of the Opposition, because this effort requires national unity. It requires unity of purpose. And to plant 300,000 trees in the time frame that we have set ourselves will require churches, service clubs, and our beautiful students who would have performed right before me. I thank you all for joining us here today. I assure you of the Ministry of Water, Environment, and Climate Change's commitment to its mandate, Prime Minister, and indeed, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. This is one initiative as a part of many others that form a part of our strategic focus on ensuring sustainable development is a part of our journey to prosperity. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Minister. I now invite His Excellency, the Most Honorable Sir Patrick Allen, Governor General, to address us.
Dr. the Most Honorable Andrew Holness, Prime Minister, Honorable Matthew Samuda, our Minister of Water, Environment, Climate Change, the Honorable Melissa Dalrymple-Philibert, our Minister of State in the Ministry of Justice and Constitutional Affairs, and also Member of Parliament for South Trelawny. Other members of government, the Honorable Hugh Gentles, Custos Rotulorum, for the parish of Trelawny. Your Worship, Councillor Colin Gager, the Mayor of Falmouth, Mr. Ainsley Henry, CEO and Conservator of Forests, Forestry Department, et al. Ladies and gentlemen, it's still good afternoon. I thought it was still morning. I want to extend a warm greeting to each and every one of you gathered here for this very, very important ceremony marking the launch of RELEAF, the RELEAF program, which is of great significance to the life of our nation. The introduction of the Restoration Ecological Enhancement and Landscape Framework, RELEAF, together with the National Tree Planting Initiative, which has been launched, as you're told by the Minister, represent far more than just a program. It is a promise of renewal, a promise of resilience, a promise of opportunity, and especially in the aftermath of the recent hurricane. In the wake of Hurricane Melissa, we are reminded how vulnerable our natural environment can be. Yet, we were reminded of the strength and determination of our people. We don't roll over and die easily. When we're challenged on one hand, we also seek to rise again and pursue our goal, what we intend to achieve. We were reminded by Melissa of the strength and determination of our people. Today we are seeing how that experience can be transformed into purposeful action through the planting of 30,000 trees, including fruit-bearing varieties. We are not only restoring what was lost, but we are also building a future that is stronger and more secure and more sustainable. This initiative, I perceive, will also link environmental restoration with food supply and food security, improved health and well-being, social development, biodiversity conservation, and disaster risk reduction. It is truly a holistic approach, and I want to commend the government, the minister, and all who are involved upfront in these initiatives. It is a truly holistic approach, one that recognizes that when our land thrives, our community thrives. I therefore commend the government for its decision and leadership in advancing this very, very important program. I also commend the Forestry Department under the leadership of CEO and Conservator of Forests, Mr. Ainsley Henry, and also his team of workers for the vision, their vision, also the government's vision, and also our commitment to ensure that we thrive. We have a green country. We have a country where we are stable. We don't have to fret about the risks because we can see them ahead of time, the potential disasters, and we make our preparations to combat them. I applaud the residents of this community for your willingness to embrace this effort. Your participation will be essential, and the model established here, I believe, Minister, will be replicated across the country and as far as is possible. These trees will grow because you are going to nurture them. Their benefits will endure because you protect them. In doing so, you are investing not only in your environment, but in your children, in your livelihoods, and in our future. RELEAF is our blueprint placed in our hands. Your care, your commitment will bring RELEAF to life. Let us move forward together, restoring what is damaged, rebuilding, renewing, so that this community stands as a model of resilience and prosperity. You may wonder, why did I take the time to come all the way out to Trelawny today? And it's to stand with the government and with all those who are involved in the Forestry Department to let each one of us understand and appreciate the significance of this task which is being undertaken. I grew up in a rural community myself, and we lived off the land. Everything we did, whatever we ate, and even for clothing and for utensils and whatever, came from the land. And recognize that we can never ignore or forget what comes from the land and how the land sustains us. Jamaica, I don't know, Prime Minister, if we are still dubbed as the land of wood and water, but once upon a time, we were known as the land of wood and water. That sustained us, that brought us to where we are today. And I trust that as we relaunch some of these initiatives and broaden them, give them different titles, that we will recognize that this is what is going to sustain us when other things fail. Our land, we live off our land, we live off our trees and other entities emanating from that source. And so I encourage each one of us to take on an active, conscientious, passionate role in building back and in restoring our trees and in building arboretums and other such initiatives that can encourage our people not just to walk around and enjoy the modern technologies and the modern things that are happening. But remember, we must value our land. We must utilize that to the best of our ability. And I want to thank you, Minister, for the initiative and for all of you who share in this purpose of keeping Jamaica green, keeping Jamaica healthy, keeping Jamaica a place where folk can come and call home and relax and enjoy the blessings. Thank you so much, and I wish you all the best, and I myself will do what I can to share in the structuring and nurturing and rebuilding of our green spaces and our lives in Jamaica, land we love. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency. We truly appreciate your endorsement of the RELEAF initiative, and we look forward to working with you to promote and encourage our fellow Jamaicans to participate. Honorable Marissa Darimpo-Philibert is the Member of Parliament and a supporter of the sustainable management and use of South Trelawny's forest resources. I invite her to introduce our keynote speaker. Immediately following, I invite the Prime Minister to deliver his address.
Or Governor General, His Excellency the Most Honorable Sir Patrick Allen, or Prime Minister, and or Minister Samudo, Minister of Water, Environment and Climate Change. And we welcome you all very warmly. I warned the Minister this morning that he is to be careful that we don't hold on to him here in South Trelawny, and he doesn't get a chance to leave for some very obvious reasons. I have been asked, and it is indeed my privilege this morning to introduce to this audience a gentleman that needs no introduction to any of us here, more so here in South Trelawny, our own resilient prosperity Prime Minister, Dr. the Most Honorable Andrew Michael Holness. This morning, he carries with him the spirit of renewal, resilience, and awesome responsibility. PM, it is so fabulous to have you here. You would never understand. I speak on behalf of all of us. And I heard you loud and clearly. Our Custos heard you this morning. You said, boy, you traveled on some roads. We need some help. That's the best of what you saw. The very best. So we're really happy to have you. Hurricane Melissa has tested us as a country. And for sure, here in South Trelawny, we faced the full force of that test. Melissa shook our homes, uprooted our communities and our farms, and stripped our landscapes of many of our trees that once stood as the guardians of our environment. But while Melissa took so much from us, friends, it has not taken the resolve from our Prime Minister and our government. As he made his budget presentation in Parliament last week, Thursday, it was not just a message to us as a people, but a plan to lead our country into renewal, building resilience, and responsibility. He said in his presentation that while Hurricane Melissa may have taken so much from us, it did not take the resolve of our people as Jamaicans. PM, we in South Trelawny, along with myself as Member of Parliament, look forward to the implementations of the plans throughout the island and right here with us in South Trelawny. Ladies and gentlemen, today our Prime Minister is here to do more than just plant trees. He's here to plant strength. He's here to plant a future where he says to us clearly and boldly, we will rebuild, and we will rise stronger than before. Our trees are protectors of our soil, guardians against flooding, providers of shade, and vital partners in the vital fight against climate change. Our Prime Minister has said he is committed to leading us as a country into a phase where he will be investing in sustainability so that future generations will not inherit vulnerability, but vitality. He has emphasized, and continues to do so, that this is a shared journey. Government, private sector, and citizens must stand together. Every seed planted today is a promise kept tomorrow. We as Jamaicans are true architects of our own recovery. Hurricane Melissa may have bent us, but it has not broken us. Let us therefore welcome to the podium our Prime Minister, who will lead us to restore our land, our farms, our crops, who will protect our future, who will ensure that from the fallen trunks of yesterday, we will build forests of tomorrow. Let us put our hands and welcome to the podium our Prime Minister, our builder, Dr. Andrew Michael Holmes.
Excellency, ministers, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is indeed a good afternoon. A few hours after Hurricane Melissa struck, I hopped on a helicopter and I flew across the island, hugged the south coast, and turned northwesterly to look at the damage caused by Hurricane Melissa. To best understand the impact of Hurricane Melissa, I draw the image in your mind of the atomic bomb dropped on Hiroshima or Nagasaki in Japan to end the World War II. Some of you may be familiar with those images. The younger ones may not. I encourage you to go and research it. It's much easier today to research these things than it would have been during my time. And you would see the incredible devastation, not just to buildings and structures, but to our forests. In fact, you could say that there was a trail of destruction from where the storm hit first at New Hope, going across the cockpit country, and coming out in St. James, across to Trelawny and St. Anne. And what struck me was that what was once a green landscape was stripped bare of every leaf of every tree, even if the trunks were left standing, they were bare. And that is the description of the ferocity of the hurricane. It totally wiped out the forests in the areas that it impacted. When I landed, and a few days after on tour, I saw the destruction of the forests up front. Huge trees snapped like twigs. And I thought to myself at the time, who am I to question the fury of nature? It is a part of the reality of our existence. And I thought to myself, how would the Tainos manage when they inhabited the island and most likely inhabited the forests? How would they manage? And then I got to thinking that it may be possible that the Tainos would have seen a hurricane with this ferocity. But it is also likely that they may never had seen such a hurricane. Because the science is now telling us that this hurricane approached the limit of what the physics of the earth could possibly produce. In other words, it is the product of the forces of nature at its extreme. And there is even consideration that there may have to be certain reclassification done because there may be changes in some of the factors that create such a powerful storm. One of those factors being the warming of the sea. That the warmer the seas, the more powerful the storms they are able to create. And this is one of the foundational concepts of our climate change. But it also got me to think, would the Tainos be able to recover their forests? Would they have to recover their forests? If a hurricane were to destroy their forests, would they need to replant? It is just an act of nature. The hurricane is actually necessary to allow the forest to rebirth and grow, to clear away old trees and give space for new ones to grow and get the sunlight. It dawned on me that civilization needs nature. The challenge that we are faced is that there is the belief that civilization can occur without nature, that civilization is a denaturalizing process, which is a grave error. So the distinction between Jamaica now and Jamaica maybe 1,000 years ago is that we have a civilization here that is very modern in its thinking and outlook as it relates to nature. And we are heavy exploiters of nature. to the point sometimes where we forget that nature can be exhausted in some instances, and that we have to use nature with conservation in mind and sustainability. But more importantly, we have to see ourselves as stewards of the natural assets in our environment. And therefore, one of the benefits of civilization is the advance of science, which is the understanding of the natural world. And therefore, we are in a better position, because of knowledge, because of science, to be able to take care of nature. But the stewardship of nature doesn't only require knowledge and science, it also requires a certain moral posture. And that moral posture is the duty of each person to protect and preserve the environment as a legacy for future generations. But there is also a great dose of self-interest in our stewardship of nature. Because the truth is that without nature, civilization cannot prosper. And the truth is that for governments, the forest is an infrastructure, like roads and dams and bridges. One of my greatest concerns, and I went to Parliament and I addressed this matter, that what is likely to happen is that after the hurricane destroyed the forest, that we may have a challenge with water following the hurricane in the months after. Catchments are disturbed, land slippage. It might affect the microclimate that the forests would create, that would bring the water. It wouldn't trap as much carbon dioxide from the atmosphere as was before. And so there could be impacts on not just water, but on the temperature. And with this knowledge, with this self-interest, but also recognizing our moral duty, I said to our hard-working minister, who is truly the minister of religion in climate. He believes in it, not just from a political perspective, but it is his strong personal belief that we have to address the issue of the destruction of the forests. Because while the Tainos may not have needed to do anything, our society, our civilization must do something if we are to survive and recover. And he told me that already the CEO was discussing this matter and that there were plans under consideration. And so here I am today to endorse the efforts of the government, both from the moral perspective and the selfish perspective, to help nature along for the recovery of the forests that were destroyed by the hurricane. We're going to be doing this in a strategic way. Firstly, through partnership. So this is not a political event. This is not a program of the government of Jamaica solely. this is an effort of the state of Jamaica. And the state of Jamaica involves the opposition, the private sector, the unions, business, everyone. And so I'm happy to see that there is a wide representation here in this effort. And I acknowledge Mr. Newell, the spokesperson on environment and other matters, who are here representing the leader of the opposition. But the Governor General explained himself, but I will repeat the point that this is a state event, and therefore the Governor General made himself available to officiate at this event as a signal to the entire population that this is a national effort. And we want everybody to be involved, including and in particular our churches. So I use this platform to appeal to all Jamaicans to volunteer and participate. Minister Samuda was whispering to me that already they have over 2,000 volunteers who will assist them in planting 300,000 trees across Jamaica. And there is a very limited timeline that has been set to have this done because we want to do it very quickly. And we are also being very strategic about how and what we replant. So we're not just looking at, I gather, not just at our land forests, but we might be looking at our mangroves as well. And we're not only going to be replanting vegetation in terms of ornamental trees and flowers, but we're also going to be replanting fruit trees or planting fruit trees where none were before. And we're going to look to diversify the trees because what they have discovered in the assessment, that is the Forestry Department, in the assessment that they have done, is that where there is a uniculture, the damage seems to have been far worse than where there is a diversity of tree stock. And so they are going to seek to introduce diversity in some of the areas that were formerly uniculture. So those are very important features of this effort, and I want to say to the Forestry Department that I intend to spend a little bit more time in your forests, and because I'm not going to be doing so much running these days, I'm going to try and do more hiking, and therefore I'm going to be seeking your permission and guidance and support in this endeavor to discover the beauty of our natural assets in our forest. I know His Excellency was an avid hiker, and Excellency, I will take over from you, sir. Because aside from the economic value of our forests, our natural assets in our forests, the environmental health is our mental health as well. It is also our physical health. How we treat our environment reflects on our personal health. So my message today, therefore, is that for our resilience as a country, as a people, we must be able to be good stewards of all our assets, whether they be man-made or natural. And this idea of resilience is simply that when there is a shock to whatever system it is, whether it is to the economy or to the ecological system, that the stewards of the system is able to, one, inform our people about what has happened, prepare them for what will happen and develop the strategy to recover from loss and damage, and then to implement it. And that is how your government has been operating in ensuring that we have resilience. So yes, our forests have been damaged. They are recovering naturally. They may not recover at the pace that we would like or in a way that supports the economy and the society as we would like. But we know how. We have the knowledge and the know-how to support the recovery of the forests. And so we're going to do that. We're going to mobilize the resources, mobilize the people to help our forests to recover and to recover in a stronger way. But a part of resilience is that it is not centralized. You can't say that a system is resilient only if the center of the system can recover. So resilience is not just a feature of the government. Every institution in the society and every individual in the society must be resilient. We have a term where we say we're little, but we talawa. Sometimes that can be interpreted as we can endure hardship and recover, but more often it is being interpreted that we are small, but we go and fight everybody. That's the duality in the Jamaican psyche. So let us, in this instance, interpret little, but with talawa, meaning we face adversity, but we are going to recover. And recover stronger. We're going to not just survive adversity, we're going to recover from adversity and thrive after adversity. We're going to resurge. All right, so let us reinterpret little, but with talawa, as individual resilience. And that is what we're trying to build in every Jamaican. We're not just going to resist, we're going to build. And that has to become now the national psyche. That has to become the way in which, as a people, we're going to survive and thrive. So, ladies and gentlemen, it was my great pleasure being with you and to launch this very important national initiative. We had an initiative before where we planted 3 million trees. I'm told that we hit the target and surpassed the target. So I'm going to go and inspect the forests just to see those new trees. I know I did my fair share. We planted at OPM and at Jamaica House and at King's House, and we did the East-West Highway. We planted. I'm going to go pick some akis because I know I planted some aki trees and all kinds of mango. So I'm going to stop there one day and see if I can get a few. And now we have these 300,000 trees that we intend to plant. We need your help. Please come out and volunteer. Minister, tell me, where would the volunteers go? They go to the Forestry Department. Go to the Forestry website, and there's a portal there where you can sign up to become a volunteer. To support this, out of the budget, the Forestry Department will be building new nursery facilities in Western Jamaica. And that, I'm hopeful, will give you all the trees that you want, including, I hope, a lot of fruit trees. So I'll come for my stock to do some planting all over. And I encourage all Jamaicans to plant trees all around. Let us help to restore our environment. God bless you, and thank you.
Thank you very much, Prime Minister, for that timely reminder that we should be good stewards of the assets under our care. We also look forward to having you on the trails. We're very excited to take you deep into our forest so you can experience its wonders in person. We're now at the point for the vote of thanks, so we're winding down. We're almost finished. And I would like to invite our permanent secretary, Mr. Wayne Robertson, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Ladies and gentlemen, protocol having been established, but it would be remiss of me to not recognize His Excellency the Most Honorable Sir Patrick Allen, Governor General, and Dr. the Most Honorable Andrew Holness, our Prime Minister, including Honorable Matthew Samuda, our Minister. Ladies and gentlemen, it's good to be here, but it is said that all good things, unfortunately, must come to an end. I must say that it's very good to be here in this beautiful parish with this lovely weather. I somehow thought I came off a flight and ended up in Canada. Ladies and gentlemen, it is both an honor and a privilege to stand before you this afternoon to express heartfelt gratitude to everyone who contributed to this event, because it's indeed a team effort. Teams from the Ministry of Water, Environment and Climate Change and officers from the Forestry Department. Can give yourself a round of applause, teams, and for everybody else. Profound thanks to our chairman, Mrs. Francine Black-Richards, who expertly chaired the proceedings. Thank you. Thank you very much. Well done. And they said that the reward for good work is more work. So we look forward to the next event. I would like to also extend heartfelt gratitude to Reverend Dias for his powerful prayer and for invoking the presence of the Almighty at this esteemed event. Thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, we are indeed privileged to have in our midst, not very often we are so fortunate and privileged, to have the head of state, the Governor General of Jamaica, and the head of government, the Prime Minister, in one place here. Yes, you can clap. Not very often, so be thankful. So thank you, Governor General, for your remarks. The holistic approach that you articulated has been well received, and in renewing, as you reminded us, restoring and building resilience, we must also treat with matters which touch on concern, for example, food safety. So that has certainly resonated with me, and I'm sure that has resonated with you all. Your continued support to sustainable development initiatives is indeed commendable. Thank you, Gigi. Thanks to the Prime Minister for his visionary and strong leadership of this blessed nation. Sir, you have consistently highlighted the need for Jamaica to be more resilient, and we have infused resilience not just when we talk about climate change, but also water resilience, I'm happy to report. Your charge to protect and preserve the environment for future generations has been well received. Your declaration that this is an effort of the state of Jamaica, including the inclusion of churches, is significant in reflecting the unified approach that is required for building back stronger as a nation, but also in a unified way. It's very important. Sir, can give the Prime Minister a round of applause. Commendations to the CEO and Conservator of Forests, Mr. Ainsley Henry, for providing context and rationale for the event. Of course, Sir Henry, your continued leadership of the Forestry Department must also be recognized. Sir, thank you. Special thanks to Mayor Colin Gager, Mayor of Falmouth, for his greetings and support to this event. Without you, sir, we're in your parish. And Costas, thank you, sir, for having us in your parish. And Member of Parliament,
Mrs. Dalrymple Philibert. Your call to action has resonated with us, Sir Gager, and I am certain everyone gathered here as well. And of course, it would be remiss of me to not also thank Minister Samuda. I'm not sure if any of you saw a viral video going around when he was at prep school speaking about the environment. Any of you saw that? So Minister has been consistent in articulating the importance of environmental protection and management. And so it is no surprise that in 2026, he's the Minister of Water, Environment, and Climate Change. No surprise. He continues to be passionate about the portfolio and is very fervent and clear as to what Jamaica should be doing with respect to matters relating to climate change, climate resilience, and also water resilience. So give the Minister a round of applause and for his continued leadership of the ministry. We wish to also thank the principal of Lowe River Primary and Infant School, sir, Mr. Hansel Palmer. You are our host. We are indeed thankful for you to open your doors for us to be here. It's good to see the children. Earlier, I was interacting with them. I think you have a very good institution here, sir. Keep up the good work. And also thank you for, showcasing the talent, the plethora of talent, which is in abundance here at this wonderful institution. Give the children a big round of applause. Ladies and gentlemen, we should smile. We should be thankful that the future of Jamaica is indeed in great, great hands. So we are indeed thankful. The children are our future. Let us protect them. Thank you, Honorable Marissa Dalrymple Philibert, Member of Parliament, for introducing our keynote speaker, Dr. the Most Honorable Andrew Holness. Thank you. Your support underscores the importance of this initiative, as well as Member of Parliament. Being here is very important to us at the Ministry and the Forestry Department as well. So thank you also for your support at the event. Ladies and gentlemen, I wish to thank so many other persons, but in closing, it is a team effort. I wish to also thank the GIS for providing media services and ensuring that the event is being live streamed. As we speak, it's on YouTube. And of course, you will see and hear more about this in the media. Thank you to the hardworking persons behind the scenes. I know that we have a lot of partners from different entities. I was speaking to a colleague of mine from Juicy Patties. She's legal counsel and she's here supporting. We also have several other private sector companies, too many to list. Sorry? Mary C. Cole Hall at the UWI. Anybody else? Everybody. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, remember now, we need to ensure that if we can plant a tree in our backyards, in our institutions, if we can support any project, we need to support it so that Jamaica at the end of the day will rebuild stronger. We will definitely become more resilient by your efforts. And I look forward to future projects of this nature. Thank you so much for your attendance, and thank you so much for your support to this wonderful initiative. I think someone has their hand. L2000 Canada. Yes. Thank you so much. I wish to highlight your efforts and thank you profoundly for your support. Ladies and gentlemen, have a great rest of the day and travel safely back home. Thank you.
Thank you very much, P.S. Robertson. So now we're at the section of the program that the Forestry Department is most excited about, and all of our volunteers that are here are looking forward to. And can anybody guess what that is? Exactly. It's the tree planting time. So before we go, I just wanted to give some instructions. Our specially invited guests seated at the front, we have provided our branded Forestry Department bus that will take you up to the reserve to do the tree planting. So you are invited, once we've closed off, to make your way to the landing at the front where the bus is waiting for you. our other guests and volunteers, we have other buses as well lined up to take you up to the site. You will be able to enter those buses right close to the school gate, just above the school gate. So a little walk, but the buses are parked and waiting. When you arrive at the planting site, our forestry team will be on hand. They're clearly recognizable. They have staff on the back of their shirts to assist you with completing the planting exercise. And then we invite everyone to return for lunch. We also have, thanks to Food for the Poor, which is one of our partners. Thanks to Food for the Poor, one of our partner organizations, we have a couple hundred fruit and ornamental trees that we'll be distributing after the tree planting at the school gate. So we invite the community to come and get your free trees so you can be part of RELEAF at home. All right? So thank you all for coming. I wish you all safe travel home and a wonderful rest of the day. Now, as we're about to depart, ladies and gentlemen, please stand in place for the departure of His Excellency. Remain standing for the departure of our Prime Minister. Okay, you're staying with us, no problem. So in that case, everybody can proceed to the respective buses and let us get tree planting underway.
We shall pass this way but once, so we make use of our chance. We will work and pray to advance, with lots of study, with some play, as we get better every day. That is no reverse way. We are no river, primary and infant school, driven by excellence to achieve our goal. With courtesy and respect for the young and old, cause our Lord, our King is in control. We put integrity in what we do. Our creativity we shine right through. This is a school for me, it's for you. From strength to strength we'll always grow. We're number one and it will show. Once you enter, you'll learn before you go.
Enforcement, but you're also first responders.
Absolutely, and that's exactly what we have been seeing. Because I tell you, the day after the hurricane, we all got up knowing that there's a lot of work for us to do. There are police officers who lost their roofs, but we responded, and that created a significant relationship with the community. Those relationships are making our jobs easier now,
Yes.
because we are expanding and building upon that. It's sort of funny when you grieve together. It kind of brings everybody together, and we will only ensure that those relationships, that we continue to strengthen and to expand that,
Yes.
and to leverage that as a tool to further support the violence reduction.
But I landed at the hospital in Trelawny. You met me. Can you imagine that? In the middle of the storm, wading our way through streets that were flooded to come and escort me, and we stopped at the police station. Tell me, how are things in Trelawny these days?
Sir, I must say that things are okay. Since the start of the year, we have recorded 24 serious and violent crime as opposed to 22 last year. However, we were breaking even for most part. The 2 would have been the recent incident. We had a major operation on Wednesday, March 18, which resulted in 2 shooting with intent incidents being recorded against the police. And unfortunately, we ended up with 2 fatalities out of that operation. And 3 firearms and ammunition were seized by the police.
Excellent job.
Thank you very much, sir. Right, so 2 murders recorded so far, 2 shootings. And the challenge we are having now, sir, is with aggravated assaults. And those are the interpersonal conflicts. Right, so of the 24, 7 are aggravated assaults. And the other category following is breaking. Right, so we are trying to encourage persons to secure their valuables and properties a bit better.
Well, listen, you would have heard my budget presentation that there are great things planned for these parishes, and particularly we're here in Trelawny. So there are great things planned for Falmouth and those areas. So I want to encourage you to keep the crime low, keep the community spirits and community engagement high, because that level of investment can only work when there is peace, there's low crime, and when there is community engagement and involvement. So keep up the good work.
Thank you, sir.
Very good. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prime Minister.
Very good.
No, this is
That's why you keep fit, because you do a lot of work.
Come this side, yeah? He's already out. Yeah, there's a look. Look at the water. No, man, you walk.
You can walk in the city.
You wouldn't harassment and pick that pumpkin over there right now.
Fit? We have friends in other places.
It's big and fit. I don't want
No, but you're still at work. No, man, how about if you want? If you want to shot, 10% over.
We believe in the sustainable use of forest resources because we view forests, as you said earlier, as a part of the infrastructure of the country, a part of how we're going to build resilience and a part of how we're going to grow economies, especially in rural areas. Hiking, as you intimated as well, is a major activity. It actually makes billions of dollars a year across the world, and we believe Jamaica has tremendous potential for that. As you look around, you see that the landscape allows itself to provide varying challenges.
Challenging landscape.
Yes. in
Hills
some
and
places.
valleys.
In some places.
And steep cliffs. But tell me, is the forest recovering? Because from my aerial perspective, just after the storm, it was devastation, and I still see, like right here, a lot of the trees totally stripped. The trees are still down. You can see a lot of them broken and haven't recovered. What's the state of the forest now? 5 months after Hurricane Melissa.
We've been very fortunate, because in areas where we had primary forests, we've seen that the forests are recovering. There's a lot of green springing back, which is wonderful. In other areas like this, where we had a lot of monoculture, a lot of single types of trees, we see that the damage is more extensive and more lasting. But rather than worrying about what has happened, we're treating this as an opportunity, because it now gives us the opportunity to change the landscape here, to put in more of the natural forests that were here before we started planting all of these pines.
So the monoculture is not natural.
No.
It is as a result of clearing the undergrowth, and maybe government's directed to preserve this tree or preserve that tree, and you're farming around, and so those trees are just what exists, just what would have survived from that kind of...
You will have remembered FITCO.
Yes, I remember FITCO. Yeah.
So when FITCO was created,
Forestry Industrial Development Corporation, yes,
its mandate was to facilitate the planting of pine trees.
Welcome, Minister.
Welcome, Pian. So facilitate the planting of pine trees as a part of our income generation capacities. But the thing about pine trees is that because they were introduced, they aren't as well adapted to our environment as some of the natural ones. So what we are planning on doing is introducing or reintroducing, in many instances, a lot of native species into the space. But native species which also have the potential to generate income and wealth. So that's the approach that we're taking right now. And so for us, despite the damage that has been done, we view it as an opportunity to build back better, as we said, enhance resilience. And our minister has been very, very, very vocal about what it is that we should and will be doing over the next year. So on behalf of my team, I take this opportunity to thank them both.
So tell us where we are.
So we're
top of a hill, obviously. Where?
So this is the Lowe River Forest Estate. The minister is actually in the process of having it designated as a forest reserve. We expect that should happen within the next couple of months. We're in the standstill period now, where we'll have it out for the comments from the public. So it's one of the 16 that the minister has already signed off on, so we're just awaiting.
If we could just describe it to this in public. It's a lot of pine trees. In fact, it's predominantly pine trees, but there is intercropping. We see a lot of yam farmers planting in between the pines. So they have obviously impacted the forest in its natural state. They would have cleared the undergrowth, and they would have tilled the soil, and they are now planting. So it's not an original forest.
No, this is an interesting forest estate because it actually has some ins and outs, and in all of those ins there's a farm. So we've got a lot of yam farming happening in between, and that creates for an interesting relationship with our neighbors. In some instances where they use fire to clear the land, we had instances of fire coming into the estate. But that's a part of what will be reduced once we change the composition of the forest.
So the idea, when we hear forests, I think most people think of an exclusive zone for trees.
No, well, forests...
But that's not the case.
That's not the case. Forests are much more than trees. They're an entire ecosystem. So it's all about the water, all about the plants, all about the animals, all about the people. Right? there has to be a relationship between them. And as you mentioned in your speech earlier, the fact that we are stewards means that we have to take care of the forests, but the forests also provide a lot for us.
So importantly, can forests be used for economic activity?
Absolutely. There are many economic activities that forests can be used for. We have, there's a whole category of products that come out of forests called non-timber forests. Most people think the only product that you can get out of a forest is timber, but that's not the case. In Jamaica, for example, we have a species called bitterwood, and that species is currently being studied for applications in agriculture, among other things. It's also one of the species that we've used as a live yam stick project. You might have heard about that a couple of years ago, and we're actually encouraging more people to do that. There is bird watching, which is a multi-million-dollar industry. There is hiking, which is another multi-million-dollar industry. There are people that travel from place to place to mountain bike, as in cycle, and that also has the potential for a lot of money. In the general vicinity here, we also have one of the longest cave networks in the country, and that is at Guri. And that cave network also has the potential to act as a draw for tourists.
If I might, Mr. Henry, right there is where the water comes from that goes all the way down and feeds all the districts below. And there's a gentleman, I think his name is Mr. Patrick, that takes water from here. And we have tried, World Water has started, so I'm just telling Mr. Matthew, there's an endless supply of water here. So when you talk about economic activity, water is life. If we could get you seriously to tap into here, that's what feeds everybody down at the bottom.
And that's a part of why we're back here now and doing the reforestation, because without the trees covering the landscape, we do run the risk of...
So it's important, Minister, that it be said, because sometimes the narrative is that the government isn't doing anything for the environment. And I can understand that narrative and that creation of attention might be important to keep government accountable and keep government acting, but it can be very misleading. This government is actually very proactive in protecting the environment in meaningful ways and as far as we can. The RELEAF initiative that we have just launched, but things like what Minister is doing in declaring more areas as protected and giving the protection of law and increasing our enforcement and finding creative ways of the citizens being able to sustainably use the natural assets and not exclude them from the natural asset. These are all things that the government is doing. Are we doing everything? Are we perfect at it? Absolutely not. I think we still have a far way to go, but we are taking huge steps in dealing with the issue.
And there's an important point that the citizen listening should understand. A part of the reason that we have engaged with this satellite technology, supported by ground truthing, to assess the damage to the forests, and we're documenting what we're doing by way of replanting initiatives, is very important because we are going to be valuing our ecosystem services, and we are building the framework for carbon trading. Now, new trees actually store more carbon than older trees in space, so this actually creates an opportunity for us to convert it to support the activity of the Forestry Department, of the WRA, of NEPA going forward, because we'll be able to monetize some of the efforts that we're putting in, which will create the sustainability that we absolutely need for our forests going forward.
Excellent. All right, come, let's plant some trees.
What we're planning on doing is planting.
Put on the seedlings. Put them down.
Veamos.
Especially recognize them. Michelle? All right, go.
Sorry, you can just give them some space, please.
Where's the MP?
Richie.
Yeah.
Back his turn this way.
Richie.
Sir.
Oh, sorry.
Sienna, why are you there? MP, you can turn to your left.
Step right next side. Step right next side. Just come around.
All right, everybody got that picture?
Not really.
It's all right.
All right. Excellent.
Good. Omar, do you want to go?
Them be a planting a tree.
All right, let's not trample this one, please.
Trample, yeah.
Go around it,
Oh, wow. You may need to protect it. Yeah.
I am.
All right, so let me make sure this doesn't fall. No, man, no, that's fine. All right, so here you go. No, hold on, man. Hold on. Hold the tree like she said. You're the tree. All right, go on.
Good?
Yeah. Why, what a national unity.
All right. So many things can divide us. I think we should make environment work.
Exactly. Very good. Hold on. Let me see. Go back down. Let me cover one behind you. Yeah, that is it. That is a picture.
Don't worry about it.
Go on again, Matthew. Your knees, them not give out it.
Good, Jeremy?
Not quite, but...
Tell me where.
You're good now.
Very good. Excellent.
Wonderful. Don't step on it.
We need to created forest. We're not created. You reforested the area with these
Years ago, it's been here for years and years, and there's water. When you look across, that's the whole. You're looking back at the whole of South, and this road takes you right around to another village called Greentown.
This is a part of our tourism that we have not developed.
Yeah, we were just discussing. So one of the important elements of protection of the snow is what we launched last year with the Met Service, which was the bushfire warning.
Richie, there you are.
Are there more holes for them to be planted?
Yeah, man, all the way going back down, behind you. You have the trees? Okay. May I have one? Head come down.
Simon.
Ready?
Miss?
Grab trays and start filling it.
Can you want here?
It's earth.
Yo, Mo.
Oops, you have a tree there already.
Yes, so it's just for you to
Ready?
All right, we can just step back. Can everybody just step back? Step back. All the way back. May have it.
Everybody's ready?
Good?
Yeah. Ready? All right, what kind of tree is this? Anybody knows?
What type of tree is this?
It's a fruit tree though. That's good. Mahogany. Oh. All right, good.
Good, yeah, can we?
Yeah.
Here's a spot right here. So he did ask me to.
Oh, yeah. You see the deal on we have to figure a way.
On the other side, Custis. On the other side, Custis.
Sorry.
No, it's alright. It's alright.
Ready? Very good. All right.
You can take one and go and plant.
I'm the supporter. Your wish is right. Moral support needed. Very serious.
Yeah. Come up here.
Another photo op.
Monique,
I'm here. You plant everybody?
So never forget you. Never forget
More
you.
people
Never forget you.
Yo. Yeah, you can find out if them working on